The Outer Frontier. Book 1. The Declaration of War. Chapter 2. The Line Between Stars. The Hall of Celestial Mandates stood at the heart of Illyria Prime. Older than the Galactic Union itself, its immense dome had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations long before humanity had learned to shape bronze. Every wall was carved from luminous white crystal, polished over millennia until it reflected not the faces of those within, but the constellations above. The architects had intended exactly that. A ruler, they believed, should always remember how small he truly was. Beneath the dome, 120 representatives sat in concentric circles around a circular floor of dark obsidian. No voices echoed through the chamber. No conversations interrupted the silence. Every delegate waited for permission to speak. Every movement followed ancient protocol. At precisely the 7th chime, the great doors opened. Governor Arven Solkar entered. Tall even by Illyrian standards, his silver robes flowed behind him as though untouched by gravity. The golden circlet resting across his brow bore the 8-pointed star of the Dominion, symbol of law, order, and continuity. Every delegate rose simultaneously. The governor acknowledged them with a slight inclination of his head. "Be seated." 120 chairs descended in perfect synchronization. No sound, no hesitation. A holographic sphere emerged above the center of the chamber. The Milky Way rotated slowly. Several regions illuminated in pale blue. Then one system flashed crimson. Khepra. The governor spoke the name as though it carried an unpleasant memory. "You have all reviewed the reports." No one answered. The silence itself was confirmation. The image expanded. A modest yellow star, 5 planets, 3 asteroid belts, no remarkable mineral wealth, no strategic hyperspace junction, no inhabited worlds. On paper, it was one of the least significant systems along the Dominion frontier, which was precisely why it had become dangerous. Minister Selene Veros activated her console. The cartographic office has completed a 4th independent analysis. Another set of borders appeared. Blue lines, green lines, amber lines, each one different. A quiet murmur spread across the chamber. "The Treaty of Arden," Selene continued, "places Khepra within Dominion jurisdiction." The first border glowed. The revised navigation accord classifies it as neutral. A second border appeared. The Human Confederated Territories recognized the Frontier Adjustment Protocol of Cycle 812. A third border. Our archives indicate that protocol was never ratified. A 4th document appeared beside it. The humans possess a certified copy bearing Union authentication. Governor Solkar folded his hands behind his back. So both governments possess legitimate documentation. Selene nodded. "Unfortunately, yes." Several delegates exchanged uneasy glances. The governor slowly approached the projection. "This disagreement has existed for 38 years. He touched the hologram. The image changed. A construction site, orbital shipyards, defense platforms, immense cylindrical stations, dry docks, cargo elevators stretching hundreds of kilometers. Every structure bore human markings. They call this." Another image appeared. "Forward Logistics Command, Khepra." The governor's voice became colder. "A logistics facility." The hologram zoomed farther out. Dozens of military transports, heavy cruisers, escort destroyers, fuel depots, ammunition reservoirs, shipyards capable of repairing capital vessels. Silence filled the chamber. One delegate finally spoke. "This exceeds defensive requirements." "It does." Another image appeared. Convoy records. Month after month, year after year, thousands of vessels. None remained. Every convoy continued beyond Khepra, toward the outer spiral arm, toward regions almost entirely absent from Union navigation charts. Minister Veros frowned. "Our observers have never determined the destination of these fleets, nor their cargo. Repeated requests for inspection have been denied." Governor Solkar turned to face the assembly. "What explanation has the Human Diplomatic Corps offered?" Another minister answered. "They cite military confidentiality. And when asked why such extraordinary secrecy is necessary, they simply replied." The minister consulted his records. Operational security. Several delegates frowned. One quietly whispered, "Typical." A ripple of restrained agreement spread through the chamber. Governor Solkar allowed it. Then another image appeared. An Imperial patrol cruiser, a human destroyer, facing one another above the sixth planet. The recording began. Imperial patrol vessel, Resolute, Dawn requesting transit authorization. A brief silence. Then a human voice. "Calm. Professional. Negative. You are entering restricted military space." The Imperial captain answered immediately. "Negative. We are operating within recognized Dominion territory." Another pause. "Dominion jurisdiction not acknowledged. Recommend immediate course correction." The Imperial captain remained perfectly composed. "Your recommendation is declined." For nearly 12 minutes, neither vessel moved. Neither armed its weapons. Neither surrendered its claim. Finally, both ships withdrew in opposite directions. The recording ended. Governor Solkar looked across the chamber. No shots were fired. No casualties occurred. No treaties were technically violated. He allowed those facts to settle. And yet, he enlarged the map once more. This confrontation has now occurred 17 times. The number remained suspended above the hologram. 17. Each encounter more dangerous than the last. Councillor Darren Voss rose from his seat. "If the humans believe themselves above Union law today..." He paused. "What prevents another member from doing the same tomorrow?" Several delegates nodded. "The Union survives because its treaties are respected." Another delegate stood. "And if treaties become optional, the Union itself becomes optional." Governor Solkar closed his eyes briefly. It was the sentence he had hoped someone else would speak. When he opened them again, his decision had already been made. For 40 years, we have submitted protests, petitions, mediation requests, arbitration hearings, cartographic reviews, joint commissions. His voice remained perfectly calm. The humans answered each one. He paused. Politely. Another pause. And changed nothing. The chamber remained silent. The governor took one final step toward the center of the hall. The Dominion has exhausted every instrument provided by law. He looked at each delegate individually. There remains only one. No one needed him to say the word. War. Not conquest. Not vengeance. Enforcement. The oldest right of every sovereign civilization. One by one, the delegates rose. Not out of excitement. Not out of anger. Out of solemn duty, the vote was unanimous. Governor Arven Solkar inclined his head. So recorded. 3 days later, orbit of Illyria Prime. The Imperial First Expeditionary Fleet assembled above the planet like a constellation forged from silver. 250 warships, every hull immaculate, every formation mathematically perfect. Battleships at the center, cruisers forming concentric defensive rings, destroyers tracing flawless geometric patterns around the armada. Thousands of civilian vessels gathered at a respectful distance to witness the departure. Military orchestras performed the ancient hymn of continuity. Families stood in silent pride. Children watched the fleet disappear into the darkness between the stars. No celebrations, no cheers, only confidence. Every citizen believed they were witnessing the beginning of a brief campaign that would restore order to the frontier. At the head of the formation, aboard the flagship Radiant Judgment, Governor Solkar observed the stars stretch into luminous lines as the fleet entered faster than light transit. He never questioned the righteousness of his decision, nor did anyone else. Far beyond the carefully drawn borders of the Dominion, beyond the disputed system of Khepra, beyond the routes known to every map in the Galactic Union, something else waited in the dark. Something that had never signed a treaty. Something that recognized no border. And something that, for centuries, had been held back by an enemy the Dominion was only now preparing to fight.